In the previous three movies, you learned about MIDI recording in Ableton Live 7. Now I'm going to show you some editing techniques that you can use to edit your recorded MIDI performances. We're also going to manually create a clip here because you can use these same techniques to edit your manually created MIDI performances as well as your recordings. I've got a couple MIDI clips here, and this is a buzzer synthesizer instrument, a free audio unit synthesizer. And I've created a clip here with the buzzer, and I've already created this one here. And that was created by playing MIDI notes on my MIDI keyboard. I'm going to go ahead and create a MIDI clip here for my Boulder drum kit by actually drawing the MIDI notes. It's a kick snare. Actually, let's go ahead and do this in real time. So I'm going to launch this clip while I'm and solo it. And so now I've just created this MIDI clip for my Impulse drum kit by drawing notes in here. And let's say I want to edit the notes that I've created. It's very simple. I can select them and move them anywhere. And I can also edit the velocity. Now, the velocity is very similar to volume, though not exactly the same. And there are a number of options that I have here for editing velocity. I'm going to edit the velocity of this single note here by clicking and dragging down. And as you can see, there are two notes that happen at the same time. There's a velocity. Actually, let's do this one over here so you can see it even more clearly. There are two notes that start at the same point, and their velocity bar is at the same place. And I can drag and lower to change the velocity for that selected note. And I'm going to raise the velocity for my hi-hat. Now, creating variations in velocity is a very good way to humanize a drum performance. Because a human drummer isn't going to play all of their kicks and snares and hi-hats at exactly the same velocity. So by altering the velocity, I'm creating these variations here, create a more humanized performance. I can also create velocity variations by clicking the draw mode switch and then just dragging across up and down and changing velocities that way. Going out of draw mode, if I want to achieve a uniform velocity for all of my notes, I can select the note with the lowest velocity, use the key command Command A or Control A to select all, raise all of them up, and then bring them back down, and now I've got a uniform velocity for all my MIDI notes across the board. Going over to my buzzer synthesizer loop here. I have a number of options for editing here, the same velocity options. I can also extend notes by dragging them. I can extend multiple notes by selecting multiple notes and then dragging. And I can move multiple notes around as well. In both of these clips, I could select notes, hold down the Alt or Option key, click and drag to create duplicates of my notes, which I can then move anywhere in my MIDI clip. I can also duplicate an entire clip by selecting the loop brace and using the key command Command D or Control D. And that duplicates my entire clip. I have to go back here and use the loop brace to grab the entire now duplicated clip. And this is a great way to create a variation. I can quickly edit my now longer MIDI clip and create variations. And here I'm going to go ahead and grab these hi-hats, hold down the Option key, duplicate those. And I've got double-timed hi-hats now. And I can duplicate it again by selecting it. Control or Command D and drag it out. Let's take this back to the start. And I've got twice as long a clip. Something else you might want to do with your drum clips, and let's go ahead and undo some of this. Get back to the smaller clip here. Now you'll notice that that's a very rigid sounding drum clip. What you might want to do is you might want to offset some of those hits a little bit so they sound a little more human. Another element to human performance, of course, is it's not always exactly on the beat. So I'm going to right-click or control-click. I'm going to view my fixed grid menu, and I'm actually going to turn the fixed grid off. And now I'm going to offset. Don't want to offset all of them at once here. I'm going to offset a few of these. A little bit before the beat, a little bit behind the beat. Let's move my kick drums a little bit before the beat. My snare a little behind. Make it a little more obvious with this one. And play my clip. So that's a little bit more drastic than you might want to go for, but it gives you the general idea about what I'm talking about in terms of offsetting your drum hits a little bit. Let's go ahead and go to the Edit menu. Choose Quantize, select eighth note quantization, and click OK, and get my drum beat back to where it was. And let's take the fixed grid menu and send it back to 1/16. So those are some of your options for editing MIDI clips in Ableton Live 7, and as I said, you can use these techniques for working with your manually created MIDI clips or MIDI clips you create using your MIDI keyboard or your computer MIDI keyboard.